Paula played a significant role in his life and changing story. The topic will be my journey healing. Mr. Ryan, please come up, sir. Ryan's been a big part of our temple for a long time. Let's have a nice round of applause. His amazing artwork, too. Amazing artwork of the Buddha.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here at the 6th Annual Kindful Canada Syposium. Thank you, Troy, for the warm introduction. It's an honor to be sharing the stage with so many amazing speakers that will be coming from different backgrounds and professions to share a wealth of knowledge and wisdom and information that we can take home with us and put into our daily practices and help to better our lives. It was an honor to be asked today invited by Bhante to come and speak today and share my story. My story of my personal life journey. A journey which has been quite a difficult journey to reach the point where I am today. As Troy mentioned, I am a behavior therapist. That was my career. My education is in psychology. And I was very good at helping other people, but not so much helping myself. Unfortunately, I lacked the tools and the skills that I needed to help myself in difficult situations. And those situations led to a lot of mental health issues, depression, anxieties. I was prescribed for 20 years on different medications just to try and cope. But there's more to life than just coping. And the difficulties that I had in my life continued to spiral and spiral and spiral and spiral until they got out of control. And I reached a point where I tried to take my life. I was in and out of hospitals, and I tried to commit suicide. That was the darkest time of my life. And it's a difficult story to share, but I think it's an important story to share because my story may resonate with someone in the audience or someone, a close one that you might know who's going through a difficult time, and they might need a little bit of hope to help them, get to the place where they want to be. I didn't see much light during those times, but the light did come on one day when I was having a very extreme panic attack, and I went to my family doctor and asked for a prescription refill. And the doctor asked me if I had ever meditated before. And I said, well, I tried here and there on a phone app and didn't really resonate with it, and really gave up. And she said, well, you know what? I think that it will really help you. I think you should go try it. And I actually go to a Buddhist temple in Mississauga, and there's an amazing monk there who is very kind. And every Wednesday night he offers a free guided meditation. And it just so happened that it was Wednesday, and I really didn't believe in fate or the universe speaking to me at that time. But I truly did believe that it was speaking to me because I went that evening and I walked into the shrine room, and for the first time in my adulthood life, I felt peace, inner peace for the very first time. And I knew I was at the right place, and I knew I was on the right path. And I sat down for meditation and had no expectations, didn't know what to expect. I listened to Bhante's Dhamma talk, and there was about 50 people in the room, and anybody who's gone to Bhante's meditations know that he always speaks about a deep wisdom, but he delivers it in such a great way where it's so easily understood. And when he was speaking, although there was 50 people in the room, more than 50, I felt like he was speaking directly to me, and it resonated so deeply into my soul, and I knew right away that this was for me. This is what I needed to continue doing. This was the practice. We then went into meditation, and my very first meditation was very difficult. But as anything, it's a practice, and the more you practice, the better you get at it. And then after, I felt very good, and I wanted to go introduce myself to Bhante and thank him. And the person in front of me was getting the blessing bracelet. So when I went up to Bhante, I looked down at my wrists, and they were all cut up and had scars on them from the self-harm. And I broke down and I started crying in front of him. And he said, "You know what? I can see you're in a lot of pain. And why don't you come see me tomorrow?" So this was the first time that basically, a stranger had shown compassion and kindness on that level. And at the time, I didn't know that Bhante was, so popular in the community and how valuable his time was. But I went the next day, and for 2 hours he talked to me, and he made his famous tea for me. And I felt amazing after. I knew that this was the practice, this was the change that I really needed. And so it started a complete change of direction in my life. And it just shows just how important and powerful some random acts of kindness can go. It can go from, saving someone's life. And one of the things that Bhante suggested that I do was reconnect with things that brought me joy when I was a child. So I think in today's society as adults, we're very disconnected from our inner child and the things that we truly did when we were a kid that brought us so much happiness, because those were the things that we did that were just beautifully, came so naturally, and we really brought us a lot of happiness. So one of those things for me was artwork, drawing and painting. And when I was going through my difficult times, when I was hospitalized, I lost everything. I lost my career, I lost my house, I lost my friends. The only thing I didn't lose was my parents, my family, who was there with me the whole time, and my new friend Bhante. And so I started painting, and the more I painted, the better I felt. It was very much therapy for me. So I continued to paint, and then eventually it got to the point where one of my friends saw one of the paintings, and she's like, "Oh, that's really beautiful. Have you ever thought about selling it?" And I said, "Well, not really." But she's like, "Okay, I'm going to go put it out there and see what happens." And then the next day she came back and she said, "I just sold your painting for $5,000. And I'm like, "Okay, well, that's pretty great. I guess this works." And then that eventually, became my profession. But I wanted to still help people, and I wanted to use my artwork as a tool, in which I did. I started spreading my message about mental health awareness, all the things that Bhante was doing, how important the mindfulness practice is, and connecting that to my artwork. And eventually that message connected with Bell, and for their campaign of Bell Let's Talk Day, they chose me as their spokesperson, and they did a program, a segment on the Canadian CTV News, national news, where Bhante joined me for that, and that helped spread a lot of awareness, and it was reaching a lot of people, and it was something that we really enjoyed doing and reached a lot of people. Yeah. So eventually my journey continued, and I still wanted to do some more growth. It led me to go down to the Amazon jungle, and with Bhante and the confidence that he brought in my life, it allowed me to do that journey all by myself. As difficult and scary as it was, I decided to do it, and I partake in some ceremonies down there, which were very, very difficult. But everything that I did down there I was able to navigate thanks to the wisdom that Bhante shared. Everything about mindfulness and connecting to the breath, being present in the moment. Anytime in life when there's a difficult situation, and in those ceremonies which really brought them to life, I was able to use those techniques that Bhante had taught me, and I was able to navigate through that beautifully. It was the biggest test to see if they would work, if I ever have some difficulties in the future in my everyday life. And I remember though one particular day, one particular ceremony, I wasn't able to use those techniques. They weren't helping me. And so I actually connected with something that Bhante had spoken about in the Dhamma talk. And maybe this is also why I connect well with one of the grandmothers, Sue, because she's part of the turtle clan. And the thing that Bhante mentioned was adapting the mindset of a turtle when life is difficult. Adapt that mentality of a turtle and go within. When the turtle goes within, when there's danger, the predator can't get at him, and he's safe. And I feel like when we do that, when we go within, when we're meditating, when we're present, when we're in the moment, we're safe. Nothing can harm us. Our suffering comes from the past, from the present, for the future, but when we're in the present and mindful, we're very safe. So I grew a lot during that time, and when I came back, I realized just how important ceremony is. And what is ceremony? I mean, Richard Wagamis, an indigenous writer, he said that the ceremony is not over until it is shared. And I believe that's what we're doing today, and what Bhante has been doing his whole life, is lighting those candles, sharing with others, and trying to spread the messages of being kind, the mindfulness. And I think that what we need to do is keep spreading that. So a ceremony can be this. A ceremony can be going to meditation temple. I think it's very important when we learn something that helps us so deeply that we spread that knowledge and wisdom to others. And then that's with the lighting the candles and spreading it. I think I think that these are the messages that need to be shared with others. So I came back, and Bhante and I started doing some retreats together down at the beach, where we were practicing a lot of natural modalities with art therapy, with yoga, with the meditation, and a lot of people resonated with that. And it was another way that we were able to reach and help people and spread the word.